Hey, what's up guys, it's the Tech Wally, and in this video I have my hands on with the new Sony Xperia Z3 devices at IFA 2014. So starting with the flagship of all these devices, it's the Sony Xperia Z3. I was quite surprised that they announced one at IFA because they just announced the Z2 a couple months ago. Let's check it out to see if it's worth the upgrade. So starting with the build quality, I think it's very nice. It's comparable to the Z2, not much of a change, but I really like how it fits my hands. It's a little too large for my hand, but I still like it a lot. Specs wise, it comes with a 2.5 GHz quad-core Snapdragon 801 processor, 3 GB of RAM, LTE, Android 4.4 KitKat. Sony's custom UI is good. I haven't used it personally, but I like it from a first impression. A 3100 mAh battery, IP68 certification for water and dust resistance. We get 16 GB of internal storage, which is expandable. The 20.7 megapixel camera is the same as on the Z2, however there's a minor change. Now it is more wide angle and it can go up to a higher ISO to 12,800. Of course we get 4K video recording, a 5.2 inch 1080p display, which actually surprised me because all of these specs are basically identical to the Z2s. If they would have come up with a Quad HD display, I would see a point of upgrading. However, with the 1080p screen for a flagship device, that quite surprised me. So the screen is quite beautiful. However, again, I would have loved to see Quad HD. We get front-facing speakers, which is very nice in my opinion, and the front-facing camera is also not bad. Left side of the device we get a docking pin, then there is a SIM card slot. On the right side there's a micro SD card slot, the power button, the volume rocker, and a dedicated camera button. Micro USB input is on the left side of the device, however it's covered up with a flap, so I'm not a huge fan of it. And on the top the headphone jack. The back is fully made out of glass. It feels very nice. Also, both of the cameras, the front facing and the rear facing cameras, are very good, especially because Sony is known for their great cameras. So overall I'm quite impressed with the Z3. However, in my opinion, there's totally no point of them releasing the Z3 right now because we just have the Z2 and it's basically identical. If it would have, for example, a Quad HD screen or something else, then it would be worth an upgrade. So I think it's not worth. If you have a Z2, it's definitely as good as a Z3. So now coming to the Xperia Z3 Compact. I really like the Compact series because right now we really don't have a small Android smartphone anymore. Even budget devices like the Moto G recently got a bump up to a 5-inch display, and that's just a little too large for some people. It comes with a 4.6-inch screen with an HD resolution, so 720p, still very good. 2.5 GHz quad-core Snapdragon 801 processor, 2 GB of RAM versus 3 GB on the larger flagship. Then we have LTE, of course Android 4.4 KitKat with Sony's custom OS on top of it. 4K video recording with their 20.7 megapixel camera with a 25mm wide angle lens, same as on the Z3 or Z3, whatever you prefer. It has a 2600 mAh battery. Battery life is supposed to be very good on both the Z3 and the Z3 Compact due to some software optimizations. Of course, it has IP68 certifications. Hardware wise, it's basically identical to the Z3, just smaller. Comes with the same awesome build quality, the same glass finish on the back. It fits my hands really well. For me, it's a little too small. Personally, I would prefer a 5-inch or 5.2 inch, so I prefer the Z3. We get the same ports, the 3.5mm headphone jack on top. On the right side, the home button, the volume rocker, and the dedicated camera button. There we have the docking pin a micro SD card slot to the additional 16 GB of storage and the micro USB input. So I like the Z3 Compact, especially because of the small form factor. It's very convenient for people who prefer smaller devices. For me, it's a little too small, but I'm still a fan of it. Now coming to the Sony Xperia Z3 Tablet Compact. I was very surprised how light and thin this device is, 270 grams and 6.4 millimeters thin. The 8-inch display has a resolution of 1920 by 1200, which is good. However, a Quad HD would be better in my opinion, especially for a tablet. IP68 certification, 4500 mAh battery, a 2.5 GHz quad-core processor, 3 GB of RAM, and there is an LTE variant with 16 GB of storage. The build quality is very good. It feels very similar to the other Z3 devices. We get front-facing speakers. The front-facing camera is okay, but it's kind of weird to take pictures with a tablet in my opinion. Then on the left side we get the micro SD card slot, the docking pin. Then on the back we have the rear-facing camera. Of course, all of these devices feature NFC. The display is very beautiful. On the right side we have the volume rocker, the power button, and the headphone input. Optional is the SIM card slot on the left side. I'm really impressed with the Z3 Tablet Compact. That's a weird name, it's too long. Still, I really like this tablet. The form factor is very good. It fits my hand very well. It's very light, very thin. The resolution could be a little higher, but there's no actual need for it. And it's a much more portable version of the 10-inch tablet. Sony also announced the Sony Xperia E3. It is a budget version, comes with a 4.5-inch display, LTE, a 5 megapixel camera, 1 GB of RAM, 1.2 GHz quad-core processor, 2300 mAh battery. The build quality isn't as good as on the flagships from Sony, however it feels decent, especially for the price of $180. The ports are basically identical, however the camera isn't that good. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to give me a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to subscribe to not miss any of my upcoming IFA 2014 videos. Follow me on Twitter, and yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.